Everyone, this is Ms. Kennedy from the 5th grade squad at Lone Tree, and I'm teaching you math, chapter 9, lessons 12 and 13. What that means for you is we're subtracting mixed numbers, and we're also subtracting with renaming. So our goal is to be able to perform all of the processes it takes to solve equations involving fractions. Our mathematical practices are number 1, I can solve problems without giving up. Number 4, I can show my work in many ways. Number 6, I can work carefully and check my work. Number 7, I can use what I know to solve problems, new problems rather. And number 8, I can solve problems by looking for rules and patterns. So subtracting fractions is a process. When we're subtracting fractions, like the one shown, look at the equation 6 and 11/16 minus 2 and 5/8. We need to first check and see if the fractions have like or similar denominators. If they do have like denominators, and the answer to the question is yes, you can subtract. However, if the answer is no, as in this case, our denominators are 16 and 8, then we have to find an equivalent fraction before we subtract. To do that, we need to find the least common denominator between the two denominators that are shown, 8 and 16. And you may have to go back and review the least common denominator lesson if you didn't understand it. So we know that 8 is a factor of 16. So we're going to make 2 and 5/8 something equivalent over 16. And we do that by multiplying 2 times 8, which gives us 16. Then we also multiply the numerator by 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. We keep our whole number the same. So now our equivalent fraction is 2 and 10/16. And so our new equation is 6 and 11/16 minus 2 and 10/16. Now the instructions tell you over here subtract the whole numbers first and then the fractions. Sorry, Mrs. Kennedy doesn't do it that way. So I'm going to start with the fractions on the right side as if we were doing a whole number. 11 minus 10 is 1, and I keep my denominator the same. So now my fraction is 1/16. Whole number, 6 minus 2 is 4, so my answer is 4 and 1/16. Before we move on, I'm going to clear the screen. Now we're going to talk quickly as we can about renaming fractions. Renaming is the process of regrouping. Most students are familiar with the name or the term or the vocabulary word regrouping. We do it with whole numbers. When we take numbers, subtract them from top to bottom, and there's not enough on the top and there's more on the bottom, we regroup them. Okay, at this point you're asking yourself, why? And I feel your frustration. Why do we have to regroup fractions? Fractions are already hard enough. I get it. But we need to understand that when the bottom fraction is more than the top fraction, we rename it so that we can subtract. However, the value remains the same. So we're going to have the same amount or the same value. It's just going to look like a different number. Okay, let's take a look at what this looks like. What are you talking about, Ms. Kennedy? All right, so what I'm showing here is the renaming of 3 and 3/4. So 3 and 3/4 I've used fraction tiles to show 3 wholes and 3 quarter tiles. I've taken that quarter tile and I've arranged it 3 times, so I'm showing 3 3/4. Well, I want to rename it because it's just not going to work for the math question that I have posed. And so I'm going to alter this and rename it or regroup it so that I have a mixed number. Now, the purpose of getting a mixed number, which is when you have a whole number and the numerator is higher than its denominator, you have a mixed number for the purpose of subtraction. So I took this whole and I kept 2 wholes and I made 1/4 equal 1 by using it 4 times. So I'm showing 2 7/4, which also has the same value as 3 3/4, because this one right here, 4/4, equals 1. Okay? So 3 3/4 and 2 7/4 equals the same value. That's how we rename. My advice to you is to use fraction tiles for the renaming. Okay, that will give you the practice that you need in order to do the renaming. Eventually, you'll be able to do it by mental math or some other process. Okay, we're going to start our practice with the equation on the left, 9 3/4 minus 1 1/3. First thing we're going to look at is those denominators, and we can tell right away they're not the same. So we need to make them equal something over another number by using an LCD. Well, if I go through my denominators, 3 and 4 both share 12. So I'm going to make these both equal something over 12 for the purpose of my subtraction. Okay? Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to multiply the fraction portion, leave the whole numbers alone. Okay? We just want the fraction. I have to multiply 4 times 3 to get 12, but I also have to multiply the numerator by the same number. So 3 times 3 is 9. So my first fraction is going to be 9 9/12. 9 9/12 is equivalent to 9 3/4. I also have to do it for 1 1/3, and I do that by multiplying 3 times 4, which gives me 12. And I use that same 4 to multiply by the numerator. 1 times 4 is 4. Now I have renamed these fractions to be 9 9/12 minus 1 4/12. My denominators match. Now I can subtract. But before I do that, I want to show you the fraction tiles. Now, you can use virtual fraction tiles at, let me get my annotation tool, ABCF fraction tiles. If you Google that, abcf.com fraction tiles or virtual tiles, it will help you to do what's on the next slide. Take a look. Let me clear my annotations. That kind of ruined the introduction. But what we're showing and what you're able to see here is that 9 9/12 minus 1 4/12. We stack up those 9 whole numbers and we stacked up 9/12. We did those little tiles 9 times. Now we're going to subtract. We're going to take away, follow me here, we're going to take away this 1 whole, okay? And we're going to take away 4/12. Now we're going to count what's left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. So using fraction tiles, we were able to cross off the amount we were subtracting and come up with our answer of 8 and 5 12. Let's go back where we were and do the math. So we had 9. That doesn't look very nice. Pardon me. We had 9 and 9 12 minus 1 and 4 12. 9 minus 4 equals 5. Keep the denominator 12. 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 and 5, 12. So we did that using the fraction tiles, and we also did it doing the actual algorithm, standard algorithm of subtraction. All right, now that we've done that one, let's take a look at the next one. 4 minus 1 and 1/8. Why is there no fraction on the 4? I'm going to have to rename that. I'm going to have to rename 4 as a fraction. Let's skip ahead a couple of slides here to our next problem. So I'm showing those fraction tiles. I'm showing 4. 4 is the whole number, but how am I going to take away 1 and 1/8? I don't even see any 8s. How am I supposed to do that? This is where the renaming comes in. Before you begin the subtraction, you need to find an equivalent fraction by renaming. Let's check it out. I've already done the work for you. So we're going to rename 4, okay? We took away a whole number and we made it little tiny fractions. We made it 8 out of 8. 8 out of 8, remember 8 over 8, a number over itself equals 1. So we're still showing 4. We're showing 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're just showing 8 over 8. So we make that whole number 4 into 3 and 8/8 so we can subtract 1 and 1/8. Now we can do the math. We take away 1. I'm going to cross out the top one this time. And 1/8. And we count what's left. So we're going to count this one. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are left. Let's do the math. 8 minus 1 equals 7. Keep the denominator. We counted 7/8, so we know that's right. 3 minus 1 is 2. We've got 2 whole numbers left right here and right here. So our final answer is 2 and 7/8. We did that by renaming. Use the fraction tiles. I believe that's the best way for you to do this. Go to abcia.com, virtual fraction tiles to do this. All right? So we learned how to find the like denominators to subtract. And we also did some renaming, regrouping for the subtraction. My strong recommendation is that you use ABC fraction tiles or log on to ConnectEd if you have that information and use the virtual tile tools. You can do either one of those. Watch this and previous lessons again to get a good foundation on how to work with these fractions. Practice on your own and complete the work your teacher assigned, okay? If you have any questions, always contact your teacher. All right, thank you.